Welcome, my name is Matt, aka Road Jedi 88. We are getting into Star Wars, guys, of heroes, mods, Finn. Okay, I'm trying to keep my cool, because I already did a retake on the Emperor Palpatine and Fennec Shen, because it did not start off well this morning. I am of the George Lucas era generation of Star Wars. I grew up on it. It made a difference in my life. The universal spiritual application that George Lucas put as a message in his Star Wars, different than what Disney does. And I do also struggle with veterans diagnosed PTSD. I had kind of a rough night last night, so when I got into doing my mods playlist videos this morning, and I was running into the Disney characters of Star Wars, I had to kind of take the day and spend some time with my AA sponsor, try to reset myself, reground myself, everything, because I am passionate for Star Wars. I'm not religious to Star Wars, but I am passionate because of the difference it made for me, and I respect the message that George Lucas applied to his Star Wars better than I do Disney's. With that said, the one criticism I will put about Finn being a defective stormtrooper, the Empire learned that the inhibitor chips have flaws. Why in the hell would they ever go back to putting inhibitor chips back into their stormtroopers? Okay, so, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I said one criticism. The second one, here they have them labeled as a tank. Okay, if you go to my first video of my playlist, I went through with a dictionary and definitively explained the various different types of characters. While I painfully watched through the sequel trilogy, the Nightmare trilogy, of everything I saw of Finn, I saw no tank-like behavior come out of him. Never once. So I don't know where they're coming up with categorizing him as a tank. I did see support-type behavior come out of him, as well as attacker, but I never once saw a tank feature come out of him. So I don't know who categorized him as this, but maybe buy them a dictionary for Christmas. I don't know. And I know that sounds like an a-hole thing to say, but someone clearly was illiterate when they categorized that. But here in the game, they got him categorized as a tank. All right, fine. We got to roll our eyes and humor the ignorance. Okay, so if he's a tank, that means he's either protecting something that's within the squad, the people in the squad, or he's going to land a mean punch. I mean, if there was any possible feature about him that could offer as a tank feature a punch, it was his knowledge of the Empire. But they also had Han Solo, who used to serve in the Empire too. So, I mean, they had members in the Rebels who had the New Republic already put in place, already had long dealt with the Imperial remnants before what should have been the Yuuzhan Vongs invading the galaxy, not whatever this nightmare was. This resistance, I mean, why would they go back on the run again when they had their hands back on retaining the galaxy again? They were actually kind of getting a grip again by this point. There were some struggles, sure, but if you read the Young Jedi Knight book series, they were making ground. The new threat was not Imperial remnants, it was the Yuuzhan Vongs by this point. I said two criticisms. See, it's hard for me to get into the sequel trilogy without, and I'm trying to level myself to be as real as I can with y'all. And I'm, for me, I know there is the Disney's generation of understanding of Star Wars, but that's also a short time span compared to what my generation has with Star Wars. We grew up with Star Wars far longer than the Disney generation has. And ours was mostly in the books. There were the movies, there were the games, but not near as much. It was mostly the books. And while Disney claims they promote education, they prove that they promote the literacy more than education, which is kind of sad. Illiteracy creates idiocy. I'm a published book author as well. I'm an advocate book reader. Reading medicates the mind. It teaches things. There's really, it may require a little work learning how to, and for a company that talks about imagination, that's what a book challenges. It challenges the ability to test the mind to imagine what they're reading. And I don't know why they would skew away from that. But Finn, it's supposedly with the Resistance, whoever the hell that is. He's somehow a tank, and he's somehow able to lead, even though he never once led anything anywhere in those movies. If you go to swgoh.gg online website, they recommend modding him with critical chance and critical damage. So as a tank, we're cross-training him with the mods to basically attack. He's going to take his ability to punch the Empire with his knowledge of the Empire to attack them better. I guess that's how we can look at it. I am at war inside my head trying to figure out how to humor this. There's a huge difference between the two generations of Star Wars, and it is not easy to humor the two. My side was well established. I don't know what Disney's doing. And it's largely the post-Return of the Jedi storyline that Disney is screwing up through the blender, shredder, and the furnace more than the pre- and New Hope. They did a beautiful job with Andor, Rogue One, 75% good with Solo. There were some issues. Kenobi was good, and there's a lot of backstories they can work with to make a Kenobi 2. There's a lot of backstories, a lot of great stories, especially Star Wars Journal Luke Skywalker. There's some story concepts in that book that Disney could utilize if they did a Kenobi 2. And like I said, a lot of backstories in the post-Return of the Jedi books. But Finn, being a defective stormtrooper, when the Empire is pretty much splintered down, hardly any remnants left by this point in the story line, and long learned about inhibitor chips having flaws, having somehow punked the New Republic out with the very few remnants they had left somehow. There's too many storyline plot holes. There's a lot of things that don't make sense. I'm trying to make sense of it all, and none of it makes sense. And there's like somehow. Anyways, let's just end it here, okay? This is Finn mods for Star Wars Gods of Heroes. I am sorry, I struggle a lot with the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, but if anyone's actually seeing what I'm getting at, come on. Disney picked some of the worst people to ever make films that already had a fan base that trusted the heck out of it, that were loyal beyond all reason to it. They try to call them out instead of fixing their problem or scrapping it, accepting their loss. They decide to do more damage on top of the last damage. Like, where's the sense in that? Even that doesn't make sense. Like, where did you come up with that, too? They create more questions than they do answers. that's Disney for you. But, and it's one that my generation has been well aware of. It goes as far back as Walt himself. Like, nothing about that company has ever made sense. They got some good stuff, sure. But it's a hit or miss thing with them. Paramount does a hell of a lot better with their Star Trek. They actually have respect for Gene Roddenberry and the original works and the original fans. Disney just doesn't even, get them a dictionary for Christmas and show them the word respect. We can start with that one. Maybe also the word humility. Anyways, I'm just gonna end it here. That's Finn's mods, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I try to give backstories of what I know of Star Wars, and this one is just it. When it comes to the sequel trilogies, yeah, I followed it, but I came out with more questions than answers. Not to mention, I know the answers of what should have been in place before The Force Awakening, but we never got to see any of that. So, and there raises another question: why not just keep with what was already there? There was nothing wrong with it. Holy crap. Anyways, Finn, Mod, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos. Comments, questions, suggestions down below. I tried the best I could. Oh my god. And the next group of mods I gotta do are in the F categories. They're all first resistant. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to break this down and breathe in between each one. I'll do my best because I'm trying to. I know I need to respect the Disney generations of fans, but it's hard for me to blend perspective from my generation to you guys without running into this wall. It's no wonder there's a freaking fan war. Anyways, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below, and may the Force be with you.